Honeybees are gentle, highly intelligent, very communal. Every single bee has a role to play. There's this interesting dance that they do to communicate where the food sources are. They take care of one another. They're only about trying to collect nectar so that they can make honey. Whereas, yellow jackets and hornets and bumblebees, those guys are meat-eating, and they're gonna come to your picnic, and they're gonna try to take a little something. You see them hovering around garbage. You'll never see honeybees do that. Bees choose to see things differently than we do. They do not distinguish what their food source is. White clover is often seen as just this horrible weed, but bees don't see that. They see it as a food source, and what they do is they take the good out of that weed and turn that into something beautiful and sweet called honey. It's a beautiful metaphor of the men and women that have been released from prison, because I think we do label people, and who are we to say that there can't be something good, found in every single one of us if we just cultivate it.
My name is Eddie Griffin. I was raised here on the west side of Chicago. When I turned like 18, I got off into cocaine and heroin. From that, it just escalated. I eventually got into selling drugs, and that led me into the penitentiary. I got 9 felony convictions. I've been incarcerated 8 times. The thought is always that you'll never return. But without finding a job, you are trapped in that revolving door. With all of my felony convictions, who was gonna hire me?
Kelvin Greenwood. Growing up, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out in the streets a lot. Eventually, I got involved in gangs, and I was arrested at the time for attempted murder. I was 17 years old, and I knew it was time for me to do something different with my life. So when I came out, I tried to apply. I went through 3 interviews. I had the necessary skills. I didn't lie on the application. I told them this is what I was convicted for in 2001. And I got a letter in the mail saying that I was not able to work for that company because I had a prior.
My name is Tiffany Chin. When I was younger, 17, 18 years old, got into some trouble. Once you start getting older and you start needing to find those jobs that's gonna allow you to take care of your family, then that's when the whole background issue comes up.
My name is Brenda Palms Barber, and we are in the community of North Lawndale, inside the North Lawndale Employment Network. The unemployment rates here are very high. They're at least 40%. The average income is $25,000 or less. 57% of the adults in North Lawndale have had some involvement with the criminal justice system. Coming back out of prison makes employers very hesitant. They perceive you as a high-risk employee, and so folks aren't able to really be competitive in the labor market. It isn't that people in this community don't want to work. So the question becomes, how do we want to integrate these folks back into their communities? Sweet Beginnings is our social enterprise that was specifically designed to hire men and women who've been incarcerated. In order to be employed by Sweet Beginnings, you first have to go through the North Lawndale Employment Network's 4-week job readiness program. And then they're employed with Sweet Beginnings for 90 days. It's a transitional jobs program.
What we do, we actually make a skincare line, which is all natural, and we also do our own beekeeping. So we have all natural raw honey.
We have 24 hives out here in all. We also extract honey from these hives, which makes our honey unique.
Did you ever think that you'd be dealing with bees? Talk to me about that.
I think working with bees is crazy.
Brenda told me that I was gonna have to put on this suit and go out there and play with the bees, which I thought she was kind of crazy because I never played with bees before, and quite frankly, I was afraid of them.
It's quite strange having bees in North Lawndale. When you think of North Lawndale, and you think about gangs, drugs, prostitution, things of that nature. But now we actually have Sweet Beginnings with 29 beehives in the back. John is like the master beekeeper. John will be outside with a t-shirt and a cowboy hat. It used to be times where I would go out without a bee suit just showing off, but lately I've been getting stung. So I put on protective gear.
That's actually a stinger. They tried to get me.
The end of bee season, we find some hives that actually have honey in the frames. Bring them inside, we put them in our extractor, and watch it spin around, and it flows right out into a strain bucket. And once we strain it and everything, we take it to the production area and we start John honey. So it's from outside to inside to the jar, back outside, all over the world.
Starting an apiary in the hood, you gotta be very careful. But when you go around and you say, this is honey that came out of our community, and people are like, really? This is made here? This is made in North Lawndale? I just love to see people's faces light up about that. It's delicious. It's really great. You have to try some. People always think, so is it just about, just learning about bees? No, that's probably 25% of the work. The other 75% of the work is running and managing and marketing and selling and, production of the business.
We have a lip balm, we have body cream, we have lotions, we also have shower gels, we have a brown sugar and body polish and exfoliator, all honey-infused products made by hand. We do our own manufacturing, our own labeling, our own packaging.
Anything that you could imagine that any business does, we do. So from inventory to shipping and receiving to email and website management, you're going to be exposed to a variety of real transferable skills. And then after that, we try to align them with certain jobs based on their backgrounds, based on their skill sets, and based on the relationships that we have with employers in job opportunities. When I first started this work, I met this young man, and I said, well, John, tell me, what kind of work experience have you had? And he's like, well, ma'am, I've never had a job before. And he was probably like 28 or 29 years old. I said, well, John, what is it that you did that, got you in trouble? And he said, well, I was a drug dealer. He had to maintain his inventory. He was good with numbers, good with weights. I said, you know what? You have every single skill that we need in Sweet Beginnings. And he sat up a little taller in his seat, and I thought, oh my gosh, this work is going to take the skill sets that people have on the street and transition them into good and legal work. When I'm working with a population who people see as second chance people, I have to have a first-rate product. So people are less judgmental of what these folks can do. The products we produce really have a demand. There's not this pity. We're top choice. We had high-end chefs coming to us and saying, this is fabulous, honey, how can I get more? And then people started telling us, well, why aren't you guys in Whole Foods?
That feels, oh, I love our lotion, don't you?
So good.
Oh, it's good.
You know, we don't discriminate. We don't care if you've been incarcerated 30 times. It's not about that. We're looking for individuals that really want to learn and really want to work.
I'm not here to convince you that you need to turn your life around. You have to have had that revelation for yourself. And when you do, we're here for you. My home is from Tacoma, raised in Tacoma. I remember being a latchkey kid, hung out a lot at the YMCA, and was very involved in a lot of programs. And eventually I was a camp counselor, and they put me into leadership training. And, you know, it was very much about lifting folks up. I worked at the Tacoma YMCA for like 5 years, and then relocated to Denver, Colorado. And then I started working as the associate director of one of the most prestigious foundations in Denver. And I had a great office on the 53rd floor with a beautiful panoramic view of downtown. And the work was good, but I was incredibly comfortable. And I felt like, gosh, you know, I've arrived at my dream job a little too early, because I felt that there was still a need or a desire to do some work on the ground. That then led to me speaking to a group of people here in Chicago, the North Lawndale Employment Network. The mission of the North Lawndale Employment Network is to improve the earnings potential of the residents of this community. And they invited me to apply for a position as the executive director. My role would be to create jobs. When I flew out here and they toured me around the neighborhood, I had never experienced or seen the type of poverty that I was being exposed to. It was just very sad. And I just thought, this is not okay. I don't know, there was something that really connected in my heart. I think that they felt that heart connection too. I don't know if I can make a difference, but I'm absolutely going to try. So I accepted the offer. I want to roll up my sleeves and do something that I hope will really make a big difference for this community. So I relocated from Denver here to Chicago in February of 1999. It is the coldest month of the year, and there was so much snow, and I'd never experienced that kind of cold before. Immediately, I was aware that my circumstances had shifted from a very plush and comfortable place to pretty gritty. And I wasn't accustomed to street life. Definitely not savvy there at all. And some people really questioned who I was and what my intents were. Is she just here because she thinks this is a great career move for her? How can she really relate to our community? And so I did feel that I had something to kind of prove on one level, but I was also really interested and intrigued, you know, by the work. Why was the unemployment rate in this community so high? What's going on in North Lawndale? My agenda was to create jobs. It was always to create jobs. We had been operating out of a local church, and we would see 500-600 people for 20 slots. I didn't feel like I could deliver on what they needed most, which was a job. They needed to work. They needed to be able to support their families, right? They needed to do what you and I do. And you tell them, we're here to help you. But then at the end of the day, there's nothing to offer in terms of employment. It became clear to me after I met with a number of different employers in the community that they were being nice to me, but they really weren't interested in hiring ex-offenders. And I just thought, okay, enough is enough. We need to do something different here. So decided that we would create a business, that we would be their first employer. I had looked at a number of different business models, you know, trying to figure out what kind of model would fit well with the population that we're working with. So one day I'm talking to a friend of mine who's a beekeeper, and I learned in that conversation that beekeeping, it's a profession that's passed on by word of mouth through storytelling. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's something that everybody could connect to, no matter what your background is. You can learn how to be a beekeeper. I started to float this idea around, and some people would say it was just downright crazy because they're like, you're gonna help ex-offenders get jobs as beekeepers? Are you kidding? You know, it just didn't make sense to a lot of people at the time, but it was never for me just about the honey. It was always about their skills. It was about establishing work history and cultivating work ethic. And before we knew it, we actually had this bee farm, or what's known as an apiary. Sure enough, we started to go out to farmers markets with our little honey, and people loved it. And they were like, this is the best honey. And it was exciting, but guess what? The honey has a very, very low profit margin. It's like 13%. It really wasn't financially sustainable. And so we needed a business that could be substantial and to be able to create jobs for a number of people. So that's when we decided that we would put some honey in a product. And we landed on skincare. And so that changed our profit margins significantly. I have a friend, we met in Hyde Park, and I explained what my idea was. And I remember very well, she just looked at me and she paused. And she said, you know, what a sweet beginning for those people. And then I knew. We would call the business Sweet Beginnings.
On free times, we normally tend to go to stores that our products are in and just do marketing demonstrations, just so people can learn more about Sweet Beginnings, learn more about Bee Love.
What's all this?
Are you familiar with Sweet Beginnings?
No.
What you see here is a signature honey.
Sweet Beginnings folks, they're sometimes in that little workspace and, you know, they're working, but they don't really know how the public views the products until they step out and they start to do these demos.
You can test our products.
Sure. Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah.
It's very flavorful.
Would you like to sample some beauty products? You can put that on. I enjoy doing what I do. I like working with the crowd and the public, and selling products is what I do, and I think I do a pretty good job at it. Yeah. It's been great. How is that? It's delicious.
When you go to a store and there's a man or a woman behind this demo table informing you about all that's in that product, then suddenly it's not an ex-offender that you're dealing with anymore. You're dealing with a Joseph, or you're dealing with a Tiffany, you're dealing with a person.
Made our first sale today. After tasting the honey,
She had to have some.
And as you buy your product, you might walk away and say, wow, you know, that was a really nice person.
Her decision in starting this company has changed a lot of lives. Sweet Beginnings was my first real job that I had since I was 16 at McDonald's. You know, I went through the program as a transitional employee. I was eager to learn and eager to work, and so my hard work paid off. My official title is Operation Team Leader. Been here almost 3 years. I do inventory, quality control, beekeeping, invoices. I'm also in charge of payroll and marketing.
So just a few things.
Just a few things. And it feels good to say, oh, wow, I made that by hand, or wow, I work for this company. I've always been a fan of honey. I actually cook, so I use honey on a lot of things. Honey jerk chicken, grilled pork chops with honey, honey glazed ham, honey glazed chicken strips. 5-10 years from now, I would like to own my own business. I had some dreams of owning my own restaurant.
Thank you for calling Urban Phonics. How did Sweet Beginnings change my life? I do know that I do have leadership skills. I got how an operation runs, what it takes to make a product, and I just got a chance to be a part of something that's bigger. You are currently at Urban Phonics, which is where I work, as the administrative assistant. And at Urban Phonics, we grow produce hydroponically. I like the freshness of the produce that we grow, my teammates that I work with, the knowledge that I've gained since I've been here, and just knowing that we produce a product that is one of the best in the city of Chicago. If you make a mistake, you learn from your mistakes so that you can move on. That's when Sweet Beginnings comes into play, because they will help you to gain those skills and the knowledge to be sustainable.
I'm here at Martin Temple AME Zion Church in Chicago, Illinois. After I finished the program, April 1st of 2009, I was sent here to Martin Temple to fill out an application, and I was hired. So it didn't take very long at all for them to find me a job. I'm buildings and grounds keeper. My day-to-day operations is to make sure the building is clean. I buff floors, clean the grounds, and make sure the grass and everything is cut.
You enjoy it here?
Oh, I love it here. When I started here, it gave me the self-respect back. I felt good to go to a job, to make honest money. I have my own place. I have gotten closer to my family again. I have my car.
All right, tell me what that is, my friend.
This is a 2003 Ozalero. I got it February 2010. She's almost paid for. I think I got about 12 more months of payments on it, and she'll be completely mine. To be able to own your own vehicle, man, it's just an awesome feeling. I can't say enough about Miss Brenda. There is no doubt that she changed my life. And I am glad that she did. She took that leap of faith and had that courage to go on and create a program like Sweet Beginnings. So she's helping a lot of people, not just me.
I didn't expect Sweet Beginnings to become what it has. We serve, 400 or 500 people a year. Less than 4% are going back to prison. 70% are working. And that's the beauty. That's what we want. See, it makes me smile. I'm smiling so hard now that my cheeks are getting sore.
You consider you're the queen bee of this hive?
Absolutely.